Deforestation is the clearing of forested land for agricultural, fuel, manufacturing, or construction. It is becoming a major problem as more carbon dioxide will be released into the air, with limited access to the resources that the trees provide to local women and their communities. Two women, Wangari Maathai and Vandana Shiva, have stood out as two major female influences in combating deforestation. A quote from Vandana Shiva states, "We are either going to have a future where women lead the way to make peace with the earth, or we are not going to have a human future at all." Through her organization, Navanya, Shiva has been considered the Gandhi of grain. She has led a movement to protect native seeds in India, while emphasizing the importance of sustainable agricultural practices, specifically those that originated through the indigenous culture. She has also helped change perspectives of women in economically developing countries in her book Staying Alive in 1988, promoting their vital role as caregivers and stewards of nature. Wangari Maathai has been associated with deforestation through the Greenbelt movement. The Greenbelt movement of 1977 in Kenya aimed to combat deforestation, soil erosion, and promote conservation through tree planting and women's empowerment. Maathai knew that women are stewards of their communities that are vital in protecting the environment. The movement focused on the detrimental effects of deforestation on ecosystems, communities, and the planet overall. A quote from the Greenbelt movement states, "At the international level, GBM advocates for environmental policy that ensures the protection of natural forests and community rights, especially communities living close to and in forest ecosystems in sub-Saharan Africa and the Congo Basin rainforest ecosystem." To understand the role women have on the environmental conservation of forests, we look at standpoint theory and ecofeminism. Standpoint theory is the theoretical perspective that knowledge stems from a social position. It challenged the perspectives of marginalized groups like women. Research and theory have ignored the abilities of marginalized women and the feminist way of thinking. Sandra Harding argued that it is easy for those fitting in at the top of societal hierarchies to lose sight of human relations and the true nature of social reality, missing key points. Those in marginalized positions have invaluable insights into these complex environmental and social issues like deforestation. Ecofeminism looks to preserve the environment while advocating for women's rights. It looks to bridge the gap between environmental and gender rights. Women's rights and environmental concerns can work together to promote the other. It recognizes that women, particularly within indigenous communities, are those most vulnerable to deforestation. There are interconnections of the exploitations of women and the environment. Deforestation coincides with the work of Wangari Maathai and Vandana Shiva in the ability to drive gender equality while preserving forests. A study showed that women obtained 33 to 45% of their income from forests and common land, compared with only 13% in the case of men. Deforestation affects women in marginalized communities who rely on forests for their resources and work. Women have the responsibility of providing food, water, and energy for their families. It is ironic that they also have the least amount of say on how the land is used. Restricting access to forests force women and girls to travel further to collect water, food, medicine, fuel, and other things for their households, and in turn put them at greater risks. Women's concern to supply their families with sufficient rice for subsistence was a major factor in family decisions about how much forest to clear each year. Yet the idea that women's views and activities might be of relevance was alien to the foresters. It is said that public participation is necessary to the development of sustainable forestry policies. Women should not be excluded from public participation and play a main role in the forest interactions with society. This is an issue because gender is important for sustainable forest management in terms of effectiveness of policies, better food security, a decrease of conflicts among forest users, and equality of access to land ownership for women. Addressing gender inequality is also necessary for effective climate mitigation and adaptation. There is a significant economic contribution made by rural women through their unpaid care and work. This burden is exacerbated by climate policies promoting strict protection of forests.
Wangari Maathai founded the Greenbelt movement in 1977 to plant trees across Kenya. The Greenbelt movement had the goal of not just helping fight deforestation, but creating a connection between environmental degradation and poverty and conflict. Through this work, Maathai emphasized community community involvement, and grassroots activism, which addressed environmental challenges. Wangari Maathai believed empowering women in local communities to take ownership of their natural resources, it was possible to have sustainable development and improve their livelihoods while also mitigating the impacts of deforestation. Maathai understood the connection between environmental degradation and the socio-economic status of women in Kenya. Wangari Maathai involved women in the tree planting initiatives in the Greenbelt movement, which aimed to restore degraded land and empower women economically and socially. Through the Greenbelt movement, women were taught and learned sustainable land management techniques and were provided means to generate income through nurseries and sustainable farming.
Dr. Vandana Shiva is a passionate protector of the environment and has been a part of countless environmental movements, including one she founded herself. Her organization, Navdanya, promotes the protection of biodiversity in agriculture by educating farmers and implementing methods of continuing organic farming. Part of this includes the Seed Freedom Campaign, which fights against the patenting of seeds that allows companies to chemically breed plants, upsetting the ecosystem and destroying biodiversity. Navdanya also fights against climate change, promotes agroecology, and has a network of women working together to speak out against the commercialization and corporatization of food security and the privatization of natural resources. Dr. Shiva has also written many books and over 300 published scientific papers detailing studies surrounding biodiversity, bioethics, climate, ecofeminism, agriculture, and countless other topics.